We have a brand new episode of the Broad and Forever podcast back from Zo, chilling on the beach for it seemed like forever. I'm your host, Shamus Clancy of PhillyVoice.com. I am joined on the cusp of Eagles training camp, just days after the Barbenheimer phenomenon. Zo, how's it going?
What's up, brother? Happy Monday. This is a Monday afternoon. We're shooting this. Happy day before Birds training camp eve to everybody. It feels like it's been forever, man. Since we got some live football to talk about, so I'm excited.
Work's been dragging in the sense we're still pumping out as much content, but I'm doing the James Harden rumor post every day. That's annoying.
That's annoying.
People click on it.
Yep.
No one really likes reading Philly stuff unless it's the playoffs. So the regular season's a slog. And I was just dying for some excitement. And then the Eagles training camp schedule comes out over the weekend, get it sent.
Nice.
Put in my credential requests. My whole mood changed. I haven't been this excited on a Monday that I'm working in God knows how long.
What is the schedule looking like? So what, rookies tomorrow and then everybody Wednesday?
Yeah, media will be there on Wednesday and Friday.
Okay.
I'll be there every training camp day except this upcoming Sunday. I have a wedding.
Nice.
Great wedding idea. I think this is good for the podcast. It is one of my lifelong friends, my first friend, literally.
Oh, shit.
Friend.
Nice.
He got hitched or eloped, I guess is the best way of saying it, in Vegas a month or two ago.
That's awesome.
So then they decided, him and his now wife, to do just a backyard wedding party at the mom's house in Mullica Hill or Cherry Hill area, one of those gigantic backyards.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'll wear, a summer light suit or whatever, and a shirt with no tie, unbutton, sneakers. And then I run into, first of all, I didn't think I got invited to the wedding, so I'm down the shore, and this is like a family friend.
Yeah.
He's in my Eagles season ticket group, or my former one. Obviously, I don't go to that anymore. I sit in the press box. And my mom texts me, and she goes, "Are you going to Danny's wedding?" And I was like, "I wasn't invited." And she goes, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she texted one of her best friends. She's like, "Are you going to Danny's wedding?" And she was like, "Seamus didn't get invited." And I was like, I'm fucking showing up either way. Like, I'm just going to show. Yeah. If there's anyone's wedding I could just show up for, that's like a backyard wedding and do that, I was going to do it for this guy.
Yeah, of course.
But then my mom eventually looks at the envelope and it says and the Clancy family on the envelope.
Oh, right.
We were etched on to the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, the dress code, they're like, oh, you can wear shorts, just like a collared shirt. So obviously, I'm less of a fan now because of the job. But since we had Eagle season together, our friendship and my dad's relationship to him, a little bit, the father figure, is based on the Eagles. Me and my dad went on that FOCO website and bought these $75 Eagles matching Hawaiian shirts to wear to the wedding.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I expected my mom to overrule it in about 15 seconds. And my dad's like, he's over the house one day. We grabbed coffee up here, and I'm like, he's telling me all this shit, and he's like, oh, send it to your mother. He says your mother, like Tony Soprano says your mother. If you want to imagine it, send it to your mother. Right. And she's like, oh, sounds great. And I was like, that wasn't the response I was expecting. So I'm going that on Sunday. I said, oh, nice. They're at training camp, and I'm wearing an Eagles shirt with a flamingo on it. Enjoying some. I don't know if there'll be ice cold Kenwood there. If there's not, there should be. Maybe I bring a 6-pack, show up.
Bring a sixer, yeah.
That could be the move.
That's a good presentation. It shows that you put thought into it.
Looks good for all parties.
Right, looks good for all parties involved. Yeah, I would say a nice sixer of Kenny would do wonders.
They should have that on the registry to begin with, honestly.
Right, it should be. Right.
There was no registry. I think I just show it with cash, and that's fine.
Cash always works. We had
no one doesn't like cash.
My speaking of, it's so funny. My little cousins, I'll say a little. I mean, all three of them are 18, but it's a set of twins, and my other cousin, they all graduated high school this year. And talking to my mom, about like what to get him, for we had that graduation party last night. So like, we're talking about what to get him, blah, blah, blah. And my mom's just like, think about what you wanted when you graduate. I was like, all I wanted was money. She was like, well, there you go. So
I wanted money for booze and weed.
right. So that's literally one. Like I was like, she was like, oh yeah. Like I was like, yeah, I literally just wanted money. So I fucking went to Wawa, like literally right around the corner from my parents' house, and popped up with a card and gave, had all three of them, gave them all, $50 and I love you. And I was like, shit, that's right. I just wanted money for fucking for weed and to go get Chinese food. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
a new pair of military blue fours.
yeah, like right.
You high school graduation.
Anything to go toward like a new Dickie suit or some military blue fours. Like that was that. I was like, yeah, you're right. That's exactly what I wanted. It was just funds toward like my upkeep.
Jordans and 40s of Coors Light.
From
the story of my 18-year-old summer.
And I remember we also had there was like that quick, it's weird because kids move in way sooner this year, or this era. I mean, but there was also that like 6-day lull in between moving day and in the summer. And we went down I went down to Wildwood with my best friend for like a weekend, and my dad gave me $100, and like that's like shit like that. Those little random trips before you get ready to become a college student and shit.
I mean, $100 then is something that gives me $1,000 now.
Literally, I ate like
I could live off this the entire summer.
I'm like, this is great. This is gonna last. This will last me all the way till September. Oh.
You didn't do Barbenheimer this weekend, correct?
I didn't. My household, we are planning on doing it this week. But I know you and a bunch of others did. I would tell you, as someone who hasn't seen it and who's only seen social media reactions, I have heard the full spectrum about both, but I have yet to hear that either was a bad movie. So I'll take that as a good grain of salt. But also, my stance on movies is, if you liked it, you liked it. I don't know how to tell someone else that they that a movie sucked or something. There's obviously movies that I that I've seen that I didn't like, and other people have loved, and vice versa. So, but I will say I'm excited to see both of them. I think, like I said, I've heard great things about both.
Saw both of them. Love both of them. Maybe my two favorite directors currently working. I guess Scorsese's kind of an old head and doesn't count. Greta Gerwig in Barbie, and Christopher Nolan in Oppenheimer. I think you'll see a lot of Oscar noms on both sides. You'll have a best screenplay, whether that's original or adapted, for Barbie from Greta Gerwig. I would be kind of surprised if Margot Robbie doesn't get a nod for Best Actress. Not saying they're all going to win these, just nominations. I think Christopher Nolan will definitely get sound mixing, some cinematography, his hallmarks that his movies get nominated for. Again, wouldn't be surprised if Cillian Murphy got a Best Actor nomination. And there have been a couple of really nice candidates this year, but not necessarily the guy I would pick. But I would think, as of right now in July, we were not in really an Oscar season yet. Those Oscar bait movies that come out in the fall festivals and everything. But right now, I would say Robert Downey Jr. as Louis Strauss is probably the leading candidate to win the Best Supporting Actor Academy Award this year. At this point in July. No spoilers. I'm the most anti-spoiler person ever. Just saying, if you want to read a little bit more, I'm on Letterboxd. I'm at Clancy_Shamus on there if you want my movie takes, but I won't spoil anything on the pod.
I would say
it was fun doing them both. So we did a Barbie at 7:30 at KOP. We went to KOP because we wanted to see
the IMAX
Oppenheimer and the IMAX 70 millimeter film. So the don't know what we could time it because it's sold out like crazy in the IMAX formats. Barbie did a lot better at the box office, but those specific premium format ones are harder to get because people want to go to those ones specifically. So our Oppenheimer showing wasn't until 11:10 p.m.
Oh shit!
But I will say, if you do the IMAX 70 millimeter, because of the film size, there are no previews for it. So our movie started at 11:10. It started at like 11:15 rather than like 11:30, which was nice because it was a 3-hour movie. got home, like a 2:45, wrote my little letterbox review, did a shot, and then went to bed.
Did you?
We went to Shake Shack beforehand to fuel up. I am an anti-drinking something in the movie
Yeah.
theater. We were the first two people seated for Oppenheimer.
Hell
Between
yeah.
the time I sat down and the film started, I had left and went to tried to go to the bathroom 3 different times. I had a cup of water at Shake Shack at 5:30. Had a watching my figure avocado bacon double burger, but with a lettuce wrap, so it's okay.
Hi-yo. Yeah.
The lettuce wrap. Didn't drink anything the rest of the night. Didn't have any food for Barbie, but I did get. They were fucking cleared out of snacks.
Oh, of course they were.
So overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I don't blame the staffers. I blame the operations management people. Those people are just young kids trying to get by, make some money. No criticism to them.
Yeah.
Got the last bag because they weren't even having candy behind the counter at that point. They had stands outside because it was so hectic.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
But I got the last bag of peanut M&Ms that I got for Oppenheimer. Historically, when I was younger, as a kid, you'd always eat your candy before the even movie fucking started with previews. Yeah. This was a 3-hour movie. I knew I was going to be hungry because I wouldn't get home I wouldn't go to sleep for another 5 hours or so.
Right.
So what I do is I don't open it. And my rule is that I waited until we saw Matt Damon for the first time on screen for me to dig in, which is about 20-ish minutes in.
Very cool.
So pace myself a little bit. Phenomenal movie. If you have the ability to see it in IMAX at all, even if it's not 70 millimeter, or if you can see it at the Philadelphia Film Center. I'm a member of the Philadelphia Film Society. To my yearly membership, one of my favorite places in the world to be. They are showing it on 35 millimeter at the Film Center.
They just won Best of Philly too.
They did. They absolutely deserved it. And they are also playing it digitally at the Bourse on 4th and Chestnut because so many people are trying to watch it. They have a million Barbie times at the PFS East on 2nd Street. And they're still showing Asteroid City a bunch. It's no, I live there. I go there, no shit, 3 times a week to the Bourse. So
we saw we took a bunch of A4 guys to see the Air movie.
I love that.
And we took them down there, and it was obviously for a lot of guys, it was their first time in that kind of theater, so it was awesome. Obviously, the historic, nostalgic, and we honestly for a Saturday. That's actually, if you remember, that's why I texted you to see if you were down there because it was during the weekend of their festival, but it was a full house, but super cool, man. I think that a place like that is so important to the rich history of movies and stuff that we have in this city. So I'm glad that it's still around. I'm happy they're getting the recognition they deserve. It's so important though.
Yeah, it's great for the city, and when I got when the Eagles off season hit after the Super Bowl, I was crushing work was everything because football was everything. So I felt like I was either, even if I wasn't working, I was working in the way. And I'm talking to my therapist after Super Bowl. I'm like, I'm so fucked up, out of shape. I don't know what to do. I feel purposeless. And he was like, you need a hobby. And I was like, well, I like going to the movies. So I just started going to the movies 3 or 4 times a week if I'm off. But yeah, I saw someone tweet going to the movies twice in one day is insane. I'm like, that's just a fucking Tuesday afternoon for me during the week. Dude, I'll go to the film center when they play a block of movies back to back, like the Internal Affairs Hong Kong police procedural movies this weekend. I might go see those Internal Affairs 1, 2, and 3. Basis of The Departed, the classic Martin Scorsese 2006 flick, Best Picture winner. But yeah, I love that shit. I saw Air, went to an early screening at the PFS. I was a VIP. They had a seat, my name on it, said reserved for Shamus Clancy.
Oh yeah,
back in February or March.
Yeah.
So there was a poster for the movie out there that had not just Ben Affleck's name and Matt Damon's name, but my own name on there too, as I had long hoped for when I watched Good Will Hunting for the first time as a kid. So dreams come true.
It was that was a busy. When we saw it, it was an extremely busy day. We're on a school bus on our way down, and I get a text and 4 calls like all of our bat phones are going off. Everybody's like, "Holy shit, they just traded for DeAndre Swift." Um,
Oh,
so
dude. So that's a thing. So I wasn't working that day and I'm burnt out on work and I'm not having to do anything for the draft. I said, I'm going to the movies. I
yeah,
paid $40 and I watched 5 like 1970s and 80s Italian horror flicks that had
yeah.
English dubs over there.
Oh
And
shit!
this and the service sucked in there.
Of
And
course.
I was like 2 hours late. Like one movie must have just started and they did the trade because by the
Oh,
time
okay.
so then I'm going into the bathroom intermission, I turn my phone on airplane. If I'm technically on a work day, even
Right.
if it's at night, I'm on call. I don't put it on airplane mode. If I'm
Right. Yeah.
off, I put it on airplane mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to the bathroom, hitting the restroom real quick, flip it on, and I just have like,
Yeah.
like George Bush reading the book to the classroom style notifications. I was like, whoa. And then I was like, Zoe's probably already at the prep. He's probably already there. Zoe's at Edgeley.
We fucking right. I'm like, yo, can we turn this thing around? I got Channel 6 is gonna meet me at the prep already. We went to we got down there and the first thing we said was like, oh shit, like you guys think there will be cameras there when we get back? So we get back, and sure enough, there was an NBC and a Channel 6 camera there. I'm sure just getting B-roll of this, of the Jay Zoo and stuff. But we had already got like there was a bunch of like people just like, yo, like, can you imagine what like Papa Swift is going through right now? Like, like how excited is that Swift gonna be?
He was deadlifting when he got the phone call.
Right. He's like, yo, my bad. I had to move a trailer from one side of the park to the other. But when I got this news, but yeah, that was such a funny day because I think I had told somebody had asked me, yo, like, are you and Shamus doing backflips? And I was like, yeah, I think he genuinely is just bogged down with work right now. He probably doesn't even see it. But you were in the movies, but it's funny.
I'm watching like some like teen horror movie where Jennifer Connelly is sent to an Italian remote village.
You got your money's worth though. It's good.
Oh, I definitely got my money's worth. We'll flip the switch a little bit. What was the Sydney Brown event you were at? So if you didn't see, Zoe was on the news in the background. I'm not sure which station. I'm not going to refer to any stations, give them any plug or publicity. Won't be doing that. But what was the Sydney Brown event? Sydney Brown, the Eagles' 3rd-round draft pick, safety out of Illinois. The Eagles probably don't have a lot of camp battles, but I would say they have 3 or 4, and there'll be 3 guys for 2 safety spots, and Sydney Brown will definitely be in the mix.
Yeah. So he is so my barber in true barber fashion is a terrific just like networker, and he somehow ran into just in the process of just cutting hair and trying to build continuing to build his business, ran into somebody who in a PR sense knew Sydney, and he was like, look, I own a barbershop in Downtown, where it's a family shop, which it is a family barbershop, all-star image in Downtown. So if anybody lives in the Chesco area, check them out. But he was saying, if what's the thoughts, or like, what do you think is the chances of us getting Sydney to come out and sign some autographs and stuff? And the person like turned it like on his head and was like, how about we just make it like a whole day? So he actually was there from, I think they said like 2:30 to like 6 o'clock. So basically like 3.5 hours. He was just there chilling, signing autographs, taking pictures with folks. I think he took like one giant group photo with a bunch of people. And whoever the Eagles, I don't know, you probably wouldn't know this person, but there was one Eagles PR person with him. And this dude was just kind of like navigating traffic, and they brought this unnamed news station with them to do a hit. So the guy,
were they aware you were the co-host of Brought In Forever? It seems like they weren't.
Right. I was like, first of all, can I give you a card?
Yeah, it seems like they're unaware who you are.
Right. You clearly don't know who your A people are here, but let me learn you really quick. Like, what did Ari say on when he was like, what did Ari Gold say? He's like, "Oh, do you know me yet? Well, you don't worry, you will." Like, like
yeah.
So the guy comes up and it's me and Amari, and it's Amari had just woken up from a nap too, so he's just like, "Dude, what the fuck is this? Like, this fucking camera in my face. I'm hungry. I just want some funnel cake." So the guy comes up and I was like, "Say go birds, man," and he's like, "Nah." I was like, so we're just like cracking up, like, and Sidney Brown, to his credit, got him out of his shell a little bit, started, shook his hand and all that. So that's when like that camera came up to us and got to go birds. But the other camera, we didn't even notice. This dude was just like in the cut, like being a creep. That's where that shot came from. And then right after that shot, we got a picture with him. But it was a super nice event. Sidney himself, like at least personal wise, extremely personable. He was just man to man, just talking about how people that he's met so far, fans and city people in the city alike, have been extremely welcoming to him. He mentioned the same thing we just mentioned, that like he feels like he's got a good chance to come in and at least fight for a spot. Like he speaks like a guy who's definitely coming in and turning some heads. I mean, I didn't watch a ton of Big Ten football, but
we're SEC guys at heart.
Yeah, we're SEC guys at heart, so apologies to him. But I know for a fact that like at least the Big Ten guys that I know said that he's definitely got some game to him. But that might be, honestly, we're gonna flip the switch over to that too. But I feel like out of the battles, that may be like one of maybe 3 battles at all during this camp.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm excited to see that one though. I think he truly has a chance to at least split minutes with somebody.
Yeah, so I was going to get into the camp battles, ask you who you think. I give my take a little bit too. So safety position, 2 starters. They got 3 guys really in the mix of start.
Yeah.
You have Reed Blankenship, who was really the Eagles' best rookie last year, most impactful as an undrafted rookie free agent out of, I believe, Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah.
And then you have Terrell Edmonds, brought in as a free agent, a veteran free agent signing this offseason, and Sidney Brown. My take right away, I believe week 1, we're going, who do you think the week 1 starters are? First snap out there. I'm saying Reed Blankenship and Terrell Edmonds, but I say by week 15, you might see Sidney Brown in there instead of Edmonds.
I would agree with you. I think Reed Blankenship showed enough, especially in the playoffs, to warrant at least getting 70% of those snaps. Terrell Edmonds, just for the veteran, he's a guy you don't have to teach much, so I'm sure that'll be default, especially for a team that's got a very, very, very top heavy schedule, to start and to end. So I think that plays into it. But I agree with you. I think that once we get to 15, 16, 17, I would not be shocked at all if you see Sidney take the leap from gunner on special teams to splitting some time with Reed Blankenship.
An underrated battle, linebacker. Obviously, It seems he hasn't played a lot in the NFL level, but it seems the Eagles are ready to hand over the number 1 linebacker job, the green dot linebacker job, the guy who ideally is the one linebacker that's always on the field, to second-year player, was a rookie last year, Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. And then who will be the Eagles? Never really play 3 linebackers, so that idea is antiquated. But who's going to be the second linebacker? They always bring in some random vet on a 1-year deal. This year it's Nicholas Morrow. But I will say, Eagles media didn't see a lot of OTAs. They were only there for 2 practices.
Okay.
When I saw in person and talking to some other people, Christian Ellis, I think, had the best performance in OTAs. And that's just 2 practices. They're going to be a lot more than 2 practices this summer in training camp. They're going to be a lot more than there are multiple games in the preseason for him to showcase himself. But I say right now, the 2 linebackers out there are Nakobe Dean and Christian Ellis.
I'm a big I'm a big Nakobe guy, so I'm really excited.
Of course,
to take the reins on that. We are SEC guys at heart. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and Christian Ellis is a guy who, um, in OTAs was written about as being a surprise, surprise performer, a guy that people were excited about on the team. I think they at least are going to give him all the opportunity to take that second spot. So I'm going to say it's Nakobe Dean as the lead dog, pun intended, and then Christian Ellis, flanking him there.
Underrated wrinkle there. Christian Ellis, number 53. Good Eagles number. Had some good 53s in our time.
Yeah,
Hugh Douglas.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good linebacker number. I think it looks good in the Eagles font.
Yep.
Nicholas Morrow, number 41. Not really a off-ball linebacker number to me. That's I think Hassan Reddick could be a 41, a kind of a stand-up edge rusher, be a 41. Yep. I like tight ends in the 40s, low key.
Yeah.
Don't like it for him.
Yeah, I'm not a big 40s guy. I feel like I think tight ends in the 40s are good. I'm not a fan of a safety wearing 40s. I think that it's gonna look weird. That's gonna look weird. That he loses points for that for me.
All right, so we also have, this is probably the most important camp battle.
Yep.
Because of how this is truly and has been essentially the entire time I've watched the team, the main building block, the fundamental aspect of this franchise, what they build themselves upon, is the offensive line.
Yep.
The Eagles have 2 All-Pros, 3 total Pro Bowlers, another guy in Jordan Mailata who could be in that mix this year. Best offensive line in the league. They will have a new starter this year, a first-time starter. A guy, whoever's starting, will have played very minimally or not at all at the NFL level.
Right.
So we have last year's day 2 pick, Cam Jurgens, one of multiple players over the years who's been drafted to be the heir apparent. Who also was drafted to succeed Jason Kelsey. Isaac Seumalo. He played out his entire rookie contract here and then went somewhere, and another mini deal, and went elsewhere.
Kelsey outlasted them all, right.
And Landon Dickerson, who was supposed to be that guy, and Jason Kelsey kept playing at an all-pro level, Hall of Fame level. Now Landon Dickerson is a Pro Bowl left guard. I wouldn't move him a step. Have him and Mailata there for the next 7 or 8 years. You're set. Right guard could be Cam Jurgens. Is he going to be the guy that steps in at right guard, interior offensive lineman, has versatility doing both? You thought of him as the center of the future. The Eagles clearly value to be straight handed over to him because the Eagles drafted from Alabama, guy who played tackle at Alabama, but looks like he's going to play guard in the pros, maybe some outside, inside versatility. Jeff Stoutland loves that. Jeff Stoutland loves the Alabama guys.
Yeah.
Tyler Steen. I think watching that shit in training camp is going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun, man. Also because Tyler Steen is a big bear motherfucker. He's got huge hands. The guy, in typical SEC offensive lineman fashion, he's versatile. He gets his hands on you and he moves you. Cam Jurgens obviously has been in the system for a year, so he's got that going for him. And he's not a small guy either. I think he's certainly going to put up a fight. I would not be shocked at all, though, if this is Tyler Steen's job. I really, really think he's got some juice to him. And, I think Stoutland will, like he always does, he'll pick the most versatile person for the job, And I think Tyler Steen is going to turn a ton of hits. And I think in today's NFL, turning anything over to a rookie doesn't have the bang that it used to. There's no shock value to that. Guys, people turn whole franchises over to rookies all the time now. I just think that it's just not it just doesn't have the bang that it used to. So it won't be a big deal if he's starting next to those guys.
Yeah, playing beside 2 guys who I don't know if they're both definitely get in, but 2 guys who should be in the Hall of Fame, and those 2, maybe the 2 best offensive linemen in the entire sport, makes it easy.
Yeah.
But I could see a scenario akin to what we said about the safety position, akin to what we saw in 2017, where there was a change at guard in the middle of the season. One guy starts the year, might not be the guy who finishes the year there.
At all. Yeah.
I would pick right now Cam Jurgens. I think what you mentioned of being in the system for a year matters. I think they're both supremely talented, supremely athletic in different ways. You have the traditional, those are the 2 archetypes I would bet on with an offensive lineman. A Alabama brawler and then a Big Ten dude, grow up barreling hay, that type of motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
And
you could see week 11, it's Monday Night Football. The Eagles lose. Chris Jones eats one of those dudes' lunch, dinner, breakfast, fourth meal, whatever it is. And there's a switch there. There's a switch before the bye week, after the bye week. I could see a lot of those things happening.
I could see, I see that. I could also see like if, they go down to Dallas and one of those D tackles, has a field day. Like they have a shiny new, nose tackle from Michigan who's not going to be anything short of a problem. So like I think that there's going to be plenty of opportunities for whoever it is to show improve in live game action. And I think the one good thing right about the staff is we can depend on them to make the right decision. So
yeah, I have faith in Sirianni and
right.
specifically Stoutland to
right.
You're gonna have to defer to their judgment. I would expect there's a quick leash if this was going into last season with the preseason expectations of last year coming off the 2021 season that was surprising. Maybe not so much in a season that's not just Super Bowl or bust, it's parade or bust.
Yeah,
not Super Bowl or bust, parade or bust.
Parade or bust. Yep.
And doing that really does require, even more so now with the new playoff format in the last couple of years, you need the bye. You need the number one seed.
Yeah.
I think there will be a quick trigger in all of these battles that we're discussing right now.
And I think that it's going to that bye, that opportunity to tie up shit later, earlier in the season than later, which I don't think is going to happen this year. I actually think that it's unfortunately going to be a really, really. My prediction is 14-3, but I think that it's going to be a much tougher 14-3 than we're used to. I think
it wasn't last year was a cruising 14-3.
Right,
cruising.
I literally sleep at halftime 14-3. I think they will definitely earn a ton of their wins this year.
Banged two articles before the fourth quarter was over.
Right,
it was a first-year reporter's dream.
Dude, it was terrific. I mean, we got dinner running at end of the first quarter. Like,
yo, what's going on Red Zone right now?
Yeah. All right, let's see what my boy Sky Hansen's up to. I think that we got probably it's going to be another 2-dog race for the division. I think that you want to keep that running back committee as healthy as you can. You got a bunch of guys, a bunch of good guys, but your two main backs are oft injured. Those guys are always nicked. So Rashad Penny had a knee thing. DeAndre.
As long as they're not both hurt at the same time, they could be hurt the other days. That's like the joke I've been saying all along.
Yeah, the same thing we said. Right, the day that they got DeAndre, what we all said was
4 games on, 4 games off, both of them.
Just don't be hurt at the same time, right? So the both of you can't. So if one dude's got to miss 4 games, the other dude can't have miss fucking 5 games or something like that. So that'll be key too. So that's another thing I'm excited for to see how they manage that. I think Boston Scott is obviously way more
kind of out of the. I think he's kind of out of the mix. Which is a shame. I was all even before my reporter days. He's like a cult fan favorite, like kind of a process player, but actually a guy who contributed on like some okay teams, some okay good teams, and then a great team last year.
Yeah,
fun player. He has to. He might not dress some games. I think I would dress 4 running backs just because of this system. How versatile it is with the injury system too, and I think they all complement each other so well.
Yeah.
But I think they are very high on Kenny Gainwell. I don't think they blink twice at Miles Sanders leaving. I don't think they blink twice about pseudo stealth benching, however you want to describe Miles Sanders' usage in the Super Bowl compared to what we saw from Kenny G and Boston Scott.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat that horse too much. I obviously had to get one mention in. But they have some versatility there. I don't view that as much as a camp battle the way we're talking these other ones because of how much guys are going to rotate in and out. Yeah. Maybe, play 1, week 1, it's Rashad Penny.
Yep.
And, maybe play 1, week 6, it's DeAndre Swift. or Kenny G, but I don't think that's like a benching situation like we're talking about with these other guys.
No, I think it's more of a two things. One, who's the hot hand, or like who can
A
if they
game where Kenny
establish
Gainwell gets 8 carries in the second half, like again in the
right.
playoffs, instead of whoever's hot.
Yeah, like whoever's hot, it's got to go to whoever the hot hand is. I'm sure if it hasn't already been bestowed to those guys, it will be bestowed to them. That whoever is the hot hand or whoever Jalen is vibing with at the moment is going to be the one that they decide to ride with. Which
I'm
brings me
excited to
to
see who like Jalen vibes with, like who's running that read
yeah,
option with him well, who clicks with that. And I don't have a definitive answer right now.
me
And I
neither.
don't think it's necessarily like a personality or thing like that. I didn't want to make it come off like that. I mean, who really gels with this system when you have two new guys in there, two guys who in their own right, you could say if, but whatever with injuries. And that's the nature of the game. But guys who I think can be true top backs in this league, if not for the injury woes. And that's why they're here on cheap, easy deals in Philly. But I think that's going to be a fun element. And the way we're talking about these other battles might have Eagles fans a little nervous. I think this is kind of a good problem to have for a team that really doesn't like to do. And I'm not talking about historically. Obviously, they had Brian Westbrook, who was a committee guy and then become an all-pro in his own right. Same thing with LaShawn McCoy comes in and then he's a star for multiple years.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
You think that they are going to carry 4 receivers? Like, do you think it'll be Kez and Alameda, or?
I think they definitely carry 4. Do they carry 5? Is what I'm. Oh, I guess they do carry 5 because of Covey. They don't carry 6.
Yeah. I guess So will they carry 6? I think that.
I think they have. I think like the 5 guys are locks, and then it's up to guys if maybe they get one more guy in or who gets on the practice squad. I think those 5 are locks.
Yeah, I think practice squad.
I mean, I could see Quez Watkins get traded. I did a column the other last month, 6-7 weeks ago, about like just random trades that could happen. And one was, Quez Watkins in a 7th for like a 6 from like the Patriots or a team like that. Yeah, it's just those are the types of random trades you see in the preseason, or they trade him to, New York for a linebacker because the Joe Douglas connect, and they trade him to New England again because they always trade with New England.
They always trade New England, yeah. I think that's another fun. I don't think I wouldn't call that a battle either. I think that's another fun problem to have. I think that.
Yeah, I was going to close with the debate that's probably nearest to your heart. You have Z coming in, who is a much, much different player.
Yeah.
Quez Watkins was used a lot differently. Quez is kind of a traditional go route guy on the outside, probably not the best fit in the slot last season. I don't think this team needs a vertical slot guy because of the versatility of both AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Those are guys that aren't just in-route guys, fly guys. They're guys who can run everything in the route tree. But I would like to see what Z brings to the offense in the sense that it's something we haven't seen with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts likes the middle of the field. Jalen Hurts likes the short game as much as he likes trying to air it out to those guys.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some interesting wrinkles with him, maybe throw him in the backfield a little bit. As we know, way back in the day, he played running back at the prep some. So I think there's, again, I've been setting all the pod, room for versatility there. I think they want Quez Watkins to win the job. I think he's a guy that Sirianni spoke out about and OTAs, which to me, reading the tea leaves, not a sourced information, was, hey, we see this guy getting some shit in the press, the fan base, has a Super Bowl drop. We brought another guy to his position who has a local connection that's going to give people, make him kind of an instant fan favorite. Let's see Quez get it together and amp himself up and have, steal this job and be the guy he kind of was in his sophomore season in 2021 rather than 2022 and, the Super Bowl, which unless he catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl this year, he'll get defined by. But you never know. That could be the ultimate redemption story. They get back and they have a similar spot against Cincinnati or Buffalo, Kansas City, and he hauls in a 57-yard catch.
You never know. I think he's we've seen it. We've seen. I think our issue is what their issue is. We've seen enough that we know he's talented. We know he can catch the ball. But we've also seen him literally drop the ball in crucial situations, more than one, actually.
And he had a crazy drop against Denver in 2021, if you remember that. It was when Jalen wasn't doing it all in the past, but he was really playing his best as a thrower all season in that game, and he had a fucking lightning rod to Quez that went through his hands. He early in the game he had a phenomenal throw and catch to Devontae when Devontae was really starting to ball out as a rookie when the team really started to gel together. So we'll see. I think that's the fan base's most anticipated battle. I think the most important is the right guard battle.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And those are
but
fun.
this is probably also the only city that like gives so much cares so much about the offensive line play where I think it could be talking next mid-February next year and we might be saying Jason Kelce is the most beloved athlete in Philadelphia history. Not just Eagles, not just the 21st century. I'm talking over Iverson, Schmidt, Dr. J, Utley, Howard, Rollins, any of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's already he's
in the pantheon.
He's definitely in the pantheon. I would say he is. We'll talk another hour about this, but
that's like an August in between preseason and regular season.
Yeah, but I'm
with some Kenwoods for that one. I think we even need some
Cole Kennys. And I'm super excited though. I think that this is. I think people are, first of all, I think we're all dying for football. I think that
today I just woke up and I was in a fucking football mood, dude.
I saw your tweet. I was like,
I woke up and I had to sign some forms for the Eagles. I did a little Phillies trade rumor thing and then saw the Kelly Green treats, did a little article on that did well. Just there's a dumb article where you're on Facebook sharing it, being like, why haven't they shown us the jerseys yet? Like those are the money posts. I could write 900 words really well about how Jalen Hurts is playing or Devontae Smith with some video highlights and 200 words on what the social media team is doing will do 4 times as many clicks.
There it is. It really is incredible, man. There is no city.
it's hilarious and disheartening at the same time. Like I love it.
Of course. You're like I got 1,100 words on Philly's trade deadline, and people are like, no thanks. Let's talk Kelly Green.
2 most read Eagles articles last year, or 3, I'll give you. One was I wrote about during the Super Bowl week, the Always Sunny Super Bowl episodes and how they kind of encapsulate the.
Right.
That one was good. Fellow prepper Rob McElhenney gave it a like on Twitter.
Yes.
No big deal to me. And these other 2 ones, they were just another stories that I was like, man, I hope like 1,000 people click on this. That'd be good because I have nothing to write about. One was Sue last year, Ndamukong Suh. Said like I'm so happy I signed with Philly, and it was the article was just like an embed tweet of that, and like him saying like, and then me writing like, oh, he played X place last year, he made X Pro Bowls, he won X Super Bowl, and now he's here. And then during the Super Bowl ramp up in between the Niners game and the Chiefs game, Hassan Reddick, his mom did an article for the Players Tribune, I think. Do you remember that? I don't know. I don't know if it was him and his mom was quoted or his mom wrote it. I just did a story linking to that story, and the Facebook moms, the Facebook grandmas, the Facebook aunts. Oh, it was. They were crying. I mean, it was an unbelievable story she wrote. I was tearing up as I read it the first time. But just hilarious.
No, it was definitely his mom. Yeah, she wrote it to him, and she said. It was like a ton about like, I don't regret any of the sacrifices I made to keep you playing football and like remember where you're from. And man, listen as a Philadelphian and an Eagles fan, it really choked you up. And then I'm sure it did something crazy to all the moms. But you honestly, if you just had a heart, like it's a really good fucking story.
It was great.
I definitely encourage to go back and find it and read it. Like it just talks. She literally just talks about how she knew like from the start that it was something he wanted to do, and she was going to do whatever it took to keep him playing. And like it goes hand in hand to how he talks about how his mom made a ton of sacrifices for him, and how that's the reason why he gives back so much. He's a guy. For those that don't know, he's a guy
very active in the Camden community.
Yes, sir. Extremely active in the community, and like. It's all based around that stuff. So definitely, it makes a ton of sense because it's a really good story, and obviously he's a super good dude. I'm happy I'm happy he's an Eagle. I'm happy, he got his money, but I do think he's now the second highest paid or third highest paid edge rusher, which like needs to be changed because like the two dudes are getting paid more than him now. No offense to either of them, but they're no Hassan Reddicks.
I'm not sure if he was at OTAs. I can't recall. I don't know. I would assume he's going to report this week, but
Yeah,
not saying anything in a mean way.
yeah,
Not a
yeah, yeah. Of
report.
course, yeah,
He seems like a holdout candidate in the
yeah,
sense that he is supremely underpaid relative to the contract he signed last offseason.
yeah.
And we've seen that a couple times in the Eagles over the years. This isn't something about his character or anything like that. If I was him, I'd be holding out already. I would have like made it very public. Or at very least next year, I'm sure he will have a reworked contract. That's more Howie style rework rather than
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
a
say.
holdout pay raise.
Yeah,
I'm sure
like,
he'll get.
I know
Last year is technically the last year of his contract, so he'll get some crazy construct where he gets like $10 million in like straight cash, and the Eagles have a salary cap hit of $900,000 for him or whatever.
Yeah, like he'll want I know it's tough to. There was a joke that whenever they go to whenever a defensive lineman goes to the negotiation table, the first thing they hear is, well, obviously you're not getting paid what Aaron Donald got paid, right? Because it's like everybody's like, all right, well, of course I'm not getting Aaron Donald money, I get that, but like I think that's going to be what turns into for edge rushers, what turns into like, well, obviously we can't pay you TJ Watt money. But I think that's like we're getting to that point. I mean, we can talk all day about TJ Watt versus Hassan Reddick. I would probably prefer Hassan Reddick, but I'm obviously I'm biased.
I mean, you value your own guys, and there's a connection
Right.
there. There's the logo flavor, there's the tempo flavor, and he balled out on the best. They didn't win the Super Bowl, but that was the best Eagles team I had seen in my life. I don't think it's necessarily an arguable point. This could be another hour-long conversation, but we'll just do a quick answer for you, and then we'll sign off. Is Aaron Donald the best non-quarterback of all time? I think you have to be quarterback agnostic because if you're starting a team, you'd pick Tom Brady or
Honestly, I used to say it was Deion Sanders, but I'm going to say it's Aaron Donald.
I'm in the LT, Deion, him, and Ed Reed. I really think is like a.
I would say I always thought that I would probably even.
I think he's like if you even include quarterbacks, not like like fantasy draft franchise Madden, but just the 10 best football players of all time. I really think I'd read something like this.
And I really, really thought I wasn't sure that there would be anybody who would top Deion for me. And then Ed Reed came along, and man, I love Ed Reed, and I thought that he was a guy like that. I thought that at some point, obviously Ray Lewis was a guy like that. But Aaron Donald, man, I mean, the dude, like you said, a non-quarterback, if you tell me all I have to start Aaron Donald, then I feel pretty good about the rest of my chances.
I have several framed Brian Dawkins things behind me, and I actually don't think it was particularly close between the two of them.
Nope. Not for
I think like tier 1 and then tier 2 is him and Palomalu, and I think he's pretty better than him. I think that's like a different a reasonable debate.
Like this was like I remember it might have been
all Hall of Famers, all three of them, but just
for sure
inner circle all time guy.
It might have been Super Bowl, but they asked Peyton Manning and Tom Brady like who they hated playing what cornerback or safety they hate playing against the most throughout their career, and they both said Ed Reed, and it wasn't even close. Like Brady literally was like, "Oh yeah, Ed Reed." He's like Ed Reed knew everything I was going to do and everywhere.
One of the highest football IQ players ever. Outside of Deion, probably the best defensive returner ever in terms of a playmaker with the ball in his hands. Yeah. I mean, guys that play at the U, that's going to be par for the course for them, definitely.
Par for the course, right? They're just super smart guys. They live the game. Guys that they're leaders from day one. So it made perfect sense.
That's it for me, dude. You want to plug the Rights to Ricky Sanchez newsletter? Just celebrate their 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary.
Phenomenal for the Philadelphia media scene.
Yeah.
Very one of the most influential outlets, or I don't know what you want to call it,
bro.
outings, platforms out there in the Philly sports scene.
It really is a crazy, crazy, crazy thing, man. It has been a very fast 10 years. Like I told the guys. So I actually, Spike and I met probably a year after they started the Ricky. And it's been a soundtrack to my life as a Sixers fan, good and bad, obviously mostly bad, but like, I'm proud of them, proud of the work that they do and the impact, like the impact they've had on local media and how it's reported. I think that it's that they're definitely been the voice of a generation for quite some time. So I'm happy to be part of the team. Happy I get to work with those guys. So if you guys are interested in reading more, you should be interested in reading more. There's a ton of good stuff and a good staff over there. Write to RickySanchez.com/newsletter. We go out every Thursday morning, so there'll be a fresh one in your mailbox this Thursday morning, and we'll talk. I mean, we're just like things are ramping up on the birds and things.
Yeah, I mean, like read the newsletter and listen to the podcast and read. I'm always gonna be biased to Philly Voice's own Kyle Neubeck as the best Sixers writer, but great collection of writers. Adam, all guys who do their separate things. Mike O'Connor, AU,
just
and then obviously Mike and Spike on the pod. So do all that, but don't watch the games themselves. No games. No games. Podcast, newsletter, broad and forever.
Don't watch the games.
Don't watch the
games. Just the podcast newsletter is all you need. Don't watch the games. Don't do it to yourself.
Look at the box score afterwards. That's all you need.
Yeah, just read the box
score after. Just look at the box score.
That's all you do is look at the box score. We'll handle all the heavy lifting. Don't watch the games.
So you could follow on Twitter, and if they're losing, you'll be like, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't watch."
Right?
If they won, you're like, "Oh shit, they won. That's great. Let me check the box score." Oh, like Max, you had 23. Good night. And just go to sleep. You didn't waste. You didn't almost waste 3 hours of your life.
Yeah, almost waste 3 hours. Don't let us do all that work for you. Take.
Go to the bourse instead.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. I don't have anything else. PhillyVoice.com. I'll have a ton of shit up there and training camp myself. Jimmy Kemsky will be down there trying to bring you as comprehensive Eagles coverage as possible. I'll be doing tallying Jalen Hurts' stats and giving you a play-by-play breakdown of how he's performed in camp, as I did last summer and I did in OTAs earlier this summer/spring. I'll be doing that, some little features. I don't think the locker room is going to be open during training camp, so we'll be at the mercy of the players that the Eagles PR staff, great PR staff, allows us to speak to at the little media tent. So hopefully having some nice features to go alongside, everyone wanting to know what's going on with the person who everyone in Philadelphia likely believes is going to be the NFL MVP this year and maybe even Super Bowl MVP. Kenwood, Tisberries, have fun. Don't watch the fucking Sixers.